Hello and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be painting 4 different canvases that are all going to come together in the end to make one big picture. So let's get into it. So I'm just placing them all down together right now so that I can sketch on them and have them all line up nicely without having any weird, odd connection areas. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So I could probably tell you about what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a snowy sort of field with a large tree in the foreground, a little forest in the background, and it's going to look like that. I'm going to be using gouache paints to do this. That's something I haven't really used before, so I thought, why not give it a try? So I'm mixing up the paint. It's gonna be at night, so I've got a blue that's not too dark, and I'm just gonna put that all on the canvas and cover it for the most part. I'm leaving a little space on that canvas there so I can have the moon there. Since the moon is a lighter color than the sky, it's easier to just leave that spot blank. And this canvas here is going to be a little more plain, so I'm going to be adding little sky designs or whatever onto it. So I'm just painting the sides of all the canvases, or at least these 2 for now, since they're gonna stick out from the wall and you'll be able to see it. You just want to make sure that's covered with roughly just so it connects. So now I'm just kind of evening out the paint and whatnot, and here we go now with the little design. So it's kind of just like little streaky lines in a lighter color. Kind of adds a little more pizzazz to it or something, I guess. Just adding a few of them. They're all different slightly, and they have to continue on to the other canvas so that they look connected. That way they're all tied together somehow, but they all still work by themselves. Just fixing up the sides and continuing it there. So now I'm doing the moon just as I had said before. Fixing up around it, I guess. And there we go. Just kind of painting it in roughly. And the sides are kind of blending in. This is one thing that I forgot about gouache. It doesn't ever, or it probably would eventually, but it doesn't really dry completely, so it can be reactivated when other wet paint or water goes on it. That's something I didn't really think about when I started this, but I had to, so I just worked around it. Added a bit more white. Sometimes I added a bit of acrylic white because it's a little thicker. It's not gonna blend as much with the gouache and the water. So I'm using a little sponge just to kind of add a little bit of effect for the moon, so it kind of shines a bit but not too much. Now this one canvas is gone, and this is going to be the canvas that's underneath this one, or the first one I should say. So once again I'm painting the sides of that one, all 4 of them. There we go, or almost, there we go. And now I'm just gonna cover the front of it, at least the sky part of it, and leave the snowy ground blank once again. adding a bit of water to it so that it's not too thick when it goes down, but also so that it is not too thin, that it's just like putting translucent paint on the canvas. Now we're continuing that swirl onto this one as well, because it can continue there. It's just going to be that little corner, but it all comes together, so. And now I'm just testing the trees, or trying to get the color for the trees, because we don't want it to be a pure black, so I'm adding in some green paint to it, so that it looks nicer and it just all comes together. A little more depth, if you will, I guess you could say. So I'm just using a fan brush to paint these trees. I'm doing the trunk of the tree so I can see how tall it's going to be. And then I'm just using the fan brush to get the leaves or branches or whatever onto the canvas. I'm doing that again with all of the other ones. So now I'm adding in white onto it to make it look like there's snow on the trees. So I'm still using the fan brush to do this, kind of just dabbing it on. And I'm pretty sure I'm still using the gouache, not acrylic yet. And I'm just kind of filling in the ground because I want these trees to be behind the hill and not in front of them, so that you'd be able to see the hills, like clean line, I guess you could say. I don't know what to call it. So I'm lining these two canvases up to get those, once again, the line to where the ground would be. And I'm just filling in the sky, kind of leaving a bit of a space for where the tree is, just slightly, and just fixing up the sky. So now I'm fixing up the ground, again, because the sky is behind the hill, you'll be able to see the clean line. So here I'm adding in the slightest pink to the ground, so it's not a pure white, because I don't know. That way it's not as just bright white. It has a little more toned down. I probably could have added a light blue instead of a pink, but it works still. It's still something you can do. So now I've got the top right canvas, so I can line those two up for the tree. So I'm just blocking in where the tree is going to be eventually. Eventual tree. I don't do puns. Not here anyways. So we're just blocking in that tree just like I said. It's kind of curved almost at the bottom. Well, it is. I'm adding in branches, just trying to get it a solid color, in a color that I'm satisfied with. Because when I first painted it down, it was more of a grayish color, and I didn't like that. So I'm just adding in the branches, like I said. Yeah, that's how you paint a tree. So on, filling it in more. Just kind of giving it some nice lines so it's not fuzzy. Now I've just mixed in some of the forest background trees into the brown to make it a darker, so for the shadows. Yeah. So now I'm just taking a bit of white, or I'm going to be taking a bit of white and mixing that into the brown as well for the highlights of the tree. In a moment. There we go. Highlights of the tree right there. And I'm kind of just blending it in a bit so that it's not too much of an edge, because that's not what I was going for. So now I'm kind of trying to blend those two bits of snow together, because when I started blending the snow into the tree, the snow turned brown. That's not what I was going for. So I'm kind of just trying to blend it in so we don't have the white ground with the brown ground, because that's not how it should look. So I'm just using acrylic white here, definitely, with this sponge again, just to dab on some white snow. I do think it helped a bit, definitely. And I'm also adding snow to the trees again, and then to the branches on the other tree. So now I tried to make a purple with the gouache, but I couldn't. I didn't have a purple I could find either. So here I am using watercolors with a bit of acrylic white and mixing that together for the purple for the leaves of this tree or the petals or whatever it is. I kind of just used a palette knife to block it in, and now I'm going back with the fan brush to just kind of make it more feathery and light and all that. So I'm also putting it on the sides, because here I almost forgot to do that. You have to make sure you cover the sides. And just making sure it all lines up nicely. And I'm adding snow onto these leaves as well, because why not? There's snow everywhere else in the painting. Why not have it there as well? Fixing up the snow. Last time, I promise. Now in the second, yeah, there we go. I'm adding the last piece, and I have a bit of the gouache mixed in with a bunch of the white, and I'm kind of just hitting the paintbrush so that it splatters down, because the gouache, it blended with the water, so it's more watery, so I can just splatter it on and make this snow effect. And that's all, just signing it, and yeah. So that's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to check out one of my other videos. It's very appreciated. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.